So staying with the recruiting, you lost one, you gained one over the weekend. So we'll talk about the loss first. Quincy McAdoo out of Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was one of Mike Norvell's first offers, from what I understand.
Not his. I wouldn't say his first offers, but he's one that's. I wouldn't say even committed for too crazy long, but he's a talented wide receiver, but it just wasn't going to last too long, maybe because I think Florida State right now has maybe some guys that might have some more talent over him. I don't think Florida State has really been on him as much. Probably right, James. I think they just like we were talking about earlier. I mean, there's guys like Kevin Coleman out there. There's guys like 5-star athletes out there that were actually in attendance that are, I think, swaying in Florida State's favor. They feel pretty comfortable where they don't need to be pressing too hard on McAdoo, and they'll allow Arkansas to dip in there and take them. So I think that's the whole situation there. I think he's a great kid, talented. I think he's going to, wherever he goes, he's going to be a baller. But right now, I think Florida State is at a point, which is a nice point to be at, where they can take, guys that are above him and try to nab him. And I think Florida State's in a good spot. And I know you lose a wide receiver, but like I said, there's some cats out there that I think are in FSU's favor.
That's basically what that's basically the same thing. It's one of those things where I would lie and say he's whatever. And it is that you don't want to lose it. It doesn't look great with the momentum, but it's also somebody that if we were to get Coleman or if we were to get, I think some of the two of the three targets that you're after right now, you probably see this kid get processed out. So I think the kid did what was best for him, and he'll probably end up going back to Arkansas. They're recruiting him really, really hard, and I think it's, I'm going to attribute how good of a recruiter Sam Pittman is. So that's really what I want to, I'll say that more to not look like I'm bashing the kid.
Yeah, and I think also we were hearing a lot of things after the spring game. Nate was hearing some things that Florida State received a wide receiver commit on Saturday. So, and it's one that's a silent. So it makes sense. I think Florida State had a chance after this weekend or in the next, before the month's over. I think there's 2 wide receiver commits that come in, or at least are silently committed. I think Florida State is in a good spot right now in the wide receiver room, at least. So
why silent commit? Does that person want to go back and maybe clean up a few things and have some discussions with some other people so they're not hearing from somebody else?
I'm not sure. I've never. Maybe James can comment on maybe why some recruits would decide to silently commit. I know that Nicco was on our pod last week, and he admitted that Florida State does have a few silent commits, and some that will shock the world. He was hyping that up quite a bit. And then that was just last week. And then this weekend it happened where we were hearing things that a wide receiver silently committed. And I was told right off the bat from Nicco about a player that committed to them that is also silent. And I think in the next couple of weeks, like I said, before the month is over, or before the football season starts next year, I think a lot of these guys are going to make it public. But I think a lot of them just kind of want to keep it private, and let other schools really try hard with them and get in contact with them. Maybe it's all really kind of up to some recruits. Some guys are different.
I think right now, traditionally, all it means is that you're kind of trying a spot, because a lot of schools are going now. Let's say coach gives them five scholarships for the wide receiver position, and you're recruiting 50, and like, all right, coach, I'm almost there, ready to give it to you, but I gotta, like you just said, I gotta see a couple more things. With the NCAA announcing June 1st, they're lifting the dead period. That probably also made a lot of kids be like, all right, now I can go see campuses that I haven't been able to see for a year and a half. So you want to go see more stuff, but you want them to still recruit you, but you also don't want them to know that you're already bought in hook, line, and sinker. because one of the things that I've seen happen is once you really commit, like let's say in particular the quarterback position, once you're off the board, another school has to completely move on. Very few kids at quarterback positions still get recruited by everybody once they commit. But if you're silently committed, you're keeping your options open just in case, you know, the craziness happens. And let's be honest, the way Florida State has been in the last 5 years, the craziness can happen. And, you know, between having a coach decide that, you know, he quote unquote left in the middle of the go take a $7 million a year job, another coach getting fired in a year and a half basically, and then COVID happened. Man, you got to keep all your options open when you're a big time guy. The other thing though is it's great to have these stories and it's great to share these things. But we had a secret group chat last year and we had a ton of silent commits until we won the games. The biggest thing that Florida State has to do is not go out. No matter how small they are, no matter how underdeveloped, or what people think they do, they got to win. If they win 8 games, 9 games, really as a reshift, that's a national championship for us right now. I'm not saying go scream like Miami fans that we're back, but what you'll see that recruiting class for 22 and 20 for the 22 wrap up, and really 23 and 24 will be stupid.
No, you're completely right. It will be ridiculously stupid if they reach an 8-win season.